SACP Online. On the red mic today, we are hosting our esteemed guest, Comrade Dr. Fred Mbembe, the presidential candidate in Zambia, one of our esteemed intellectuals, just recently graduated with his second PhD on economics. So he certainly has solutions for the crisis that is facing the Zambian people and the working class in our region. We're looking forward to talk to him. Firstly, we want to appreciate that you came to the Conference of the Left in South Africa. You had a great reception here by various forces who welcomed you with great enthusiasm, and they listened to your address. And we're glad to host you as the SACP, and to say, as we welcome you, what are the main challenges you are faced with in the presidential campaign that you seek to resolve for the Zambian working class?
First, it's very nice to be here, to be among friends one has not seen in a long time, to be among new friends one has been just seeing on social media, and also to listen to lively discussions about people who have faith in the future of our continent and in the future of humanity. Despite the challenges, they still have great enthusiasm to pursue a progressive path and to believe that a better future, a more fair world, a more just and humane world is possible. But also they realize that this fair and just world, this humane world, will not come by itself. We have to struggle for it. It was very refreshing to be here. And also to see our old organization, the mother of all progressive political organizations on the continent, the South African Communist Party, being there, revitalized, gaining strength, and having a leadership that is becoming more and more acceptable to all the progressives on our continent, and especially also in this country, South Africa.
Now, I hear that you are also the leader of the Socialist Party of Zambia, and you have been doing great work in the communities around education, around questions of health. You have been training doctors, nurses. So you have practically been running a parallel government without institutional power. How have you been doing it? And I think that the Zambian people should be ready to give someone who has been doing so much service to them outside of institutional capacity and power. And now, when you get into the presidency, how are you going to use the office to enhance this efforts that we have started with the Socialist Party?
We used to be taught that, we socialists, we communists have to mobilize wherever we are. There was a joke Joe Slovo used to like telling about how when Karl Marx died, he went straight to hell. And in a month's time in hell, it was impossible for Satan to do his work of burning souls. And Satan had to phone God in heaven and say, God, can you take this Karl Marx away from me so that I can continue doing your will? God said, bring him over. And Karl Marx went to heaven. In a month's time, it was time for Satan to return to hell. And Satan calls heaven. Who answered the phone on the other side? Karl Marx answered the phone in heaven. He had mobilized everybody there. He was in charge. The moral of it is that we socialists, we communists have to work wherever we are. The most important thing for us, I tell people, is not even our ideology. The most important thing is people. At no time have we ever put our ideology, our beliefs, our methodologies above people. Our strategic objective is to improve the living conditions of our people here on earth. And if we improve them here on earth, we also give them a chance to go to the other side in an easier way. Our ideology, our outlook is a tool we use to give our people a better life. A tool cannot be more important than the people it's supposed to save. So wherever we are, we work. Even before we have to get into government, we have to do some work. And work in the areas that really affect people's lives. One of them is education. The second is health. The third is food, agriculture. So we have been doing some work in these three areas. We have trained over 5,000 men and women who were illiterate, how to read and write.
5,000.
Over 5,000.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yes. We have trained over 30 doctors, medical doctors, over the last few years.
Wow.
2 of them are already in China doing their master's degree in public health. 17, who include one Ghanaian, are on their way back, although most of them want to remain in Venezuela to specialize. We have also trained a number of nurses. We have a few economic policy management graduates as well who have trained over the last 5-6 years. This also has inspiration in the way we were brought up. I was about to stop school to join full-time the revolutionary movement. One of my leaders, Chris Hani, refused me to leave school. He encouraged me throughout. If it wasn't for Chris Hani, I wouldn't have the degrees I have today. And probably I would have died a long time ago. I'm here because of him. And he taught me the importance of education. He was a university graduate of Fort Hare himself. And he read a lot. He worked a lot on improving himself, his understanding of the world, and understanding the challenges or problems facing humanity. So we have invested in these areas. We don't need to wait for the government, especially given the poverty levels that are in Zambia today. The average national poverty in Zambia today is over 60%. It's approaching 70% poverty level.
Gosh. Yeah.
The African average, sub-Saharan African average, is about 43%. We have regions of our country that are enduring poverty levels of over 80%. The province where I come from, Muchinga province, has got poverty levels of 82.6%.
Crisis.
Yes. Average rural poverty in Zambia today is 78.8%. That's the average rural poverty. Average urban poverty is 31.8%. Lusaka, the capital city, is enduring poverty levels of 27%. But also to that add the population growth rate. We have a population growth rate averaging 3.5% per annum. The urban one is actually 4%. So it means in the next 12 to 15 years, Zambia's population of 22 million will be more than 44 million. Again, the challenge is, if we are failing to look after 22 million, what is it that we are doing that will enable us to look after 44 million plus people in a better way? How are we going to provide them with the housing? How are we going to provide them with food? How are we going to provide them with education, health services, water and sanitation, transport? We have one of the highest infant mortality rates in the world today in Zambia, and also maternal mortality rates. Maternal mortality rate is high because of health services. Many of our people are born and die without being touched by a doctor. When they talk about a doctor, they talk about a clinical officer. With the median age averaging about 19.3%, most of our mothers are young, 19, 18, 20, and their bodies are not yet ready to give birth. So those are dying in childbirth because they need cesarean operation in most cases. 5% of our pregnant women need cesarean operation. And without cesarean operation, they die. Especially in the rural areas, there are no doctors. We have one of the lowest physician density, the number of doctors per population. Yet we have over 3,000 doctors unemployed in Zambia today.
What?
Over 3,000 unemployed. But we have one of the lowest physician density. Zambia is one of the 5-6 hungriest country in the world. We are among the 5-6 hungriest countries in the world. For a country that has been producing copper since the early 1900s. The second biggest copper producer on the continent. And there is no year when there was no production. Every year there's production.
Where does
And
the
the
money
copper prices are going up now. It's $14,000 per ton.
But it doesn't serve the Zambian
It
people.
doesn't save the Zambian. What we remain with is just craters in the ground. The copper is gone and the money is gone. These are the challenges our people are facing. How do we give our people a better life, a dignified life in the 21st century under these conditions?
Well, I think from what you have been doing already in the social interventions, economic interventions, food production, training of medical professionals, nurses, doctors, and training 5,000 illiterate people to be able to read. That's unbelievable achievement, particularly from an organization that is not yet institutionally elected to lead the country. So this great achievements gives you good state because we have already begun to resolve the problems. And I'm glad that we have not been just theorizing about the problems, but we have been doing something about it. But how have the youth and women responded to these social programs, for instance?
How they respond is different also from how people vote. The voting in the elections that we participate in are determined by many factors. And one of the biggest factors is money. With the social media today, with the algorithms today, all sorts of things are done for people to win an election. The elections have become very expensive. Zambia is a big territory, poor as it may be, 752,618 square kilometers, with poor roads, people living in far-flung hamlets. You needed to get there where there are no roads, no proper roads. You needed to have the automobiles to get there. Those automobiles burn gas, they burn fuel. Your campaigners have to feed. You need regalia, which has become very fashionable in on our continent today. So running an election requires huge amounts of money, which a small socialist party like ours, a poor socialist party like ours, does not have. So you have those logistical challenges. You could have done all these things with the money that you have. Others don't spend that money on the people. They simply spend it on an election to buy the votes. We spend it on the people and we ask them to vote for us. The popularity that we may enjoy is organic, it's not engineered. So these are the challenges we face. The elections are very, very difficult because they involve many factors. But that should not stop us doing for the people what we need to do today. Yes, we understand that revolutionaries work for the future, live for the future, struggle for the future, but also they have to do what is needed to be done for that particular day. And that's why we engage in education, in health services, and in agriculture. Because people need to be there to live, to be there tomorrow. The future is not built in the future. The future is built on the threshold of the things we do today, the decisions we take today. In having this podcast, we are building the future. We are building the consciousness required for the future. So we have to deal with these challenges of building the future in the present.
No, thank you very much for this. I think let me make a call that to all our viewers who may come across this, here is a presidential candidate of the Socialist Party of Zambia, Dr. Fred Membe, is doing great stuff with his team, and yet with Miagra resources. Anyone able to make a donation, let them do so through the Socialist Party of Zambia. The details are on their webpage. Then they can get in touch with the organization, make any kind of contribution for the success of the elections work. If you have a card to donate, you can donate. If you have money to donate, you can donate. We need all forms of donation so that this great work that they've started in the communities can be expanded across all districts and across all the length and breadth of the great Zambian society. And I think that it's important. But let me ask this question going forward, Dr. Fred. And firstly, let me also appreciate that you have dedicated your second PhD to our former General Secretary, Comrade Chris Hani. Really, this pleases us as the Communist Party in South Africa, that you have not forgotten about him. This is the man that gave us April 27 date here in South Africa, which we call Freedom Day, after he was assassinated by the right-wing forces. Was the former Chief of Staff of our Liberation Army, Umkhonto weSizwe, had stayed in Zambia in exile, and later on became the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party. Unfortunately, as we indicated, was assassinated on April 10, 1993. And today you have not forgotten about him. You dedicate a whole PhD study on economics on him. This is an inspirational story. So you are practically a deep socialist, an international socialist. I also hear that in some of the doctors that you have been training, you have also been training doctors for the Ghanaian people, all the way from Zambia. Just tell me this question of the proletarian internationalism or internationalism of the Socialist Party of Zambia.
I was brought up under the conditions of internationalism. The people who brought me up politically and otherwise were not Zambians per se. Chris Hani was South African, Joe Slovo was South African, Ben Turok was South African, Jack and Ray Simmons were South Africans, among many others. I was a small boy, 18, 19, or just turning 19. They took me on as their son, as their own. I don't know any other life other than that of internationalism. I've lived that. That's the only type of politics I know. That's the only type of struggle I know. Yes, sometimes it makes it difficult for you when you are too much of an internationalist, when you have to fight local battles. Because you carry this identity, you carry this message, you carry this outlook that is broader. When people want you to focus on the narrow location that you are in at that particular time. Yes, we have to deal with the problems of the places where we are placed, where we are deployed. But we can't forget who we are. I'm an African. First of all, I'm an African. The national anthem of Zambia, in one of its verses, says, Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hand. Let all her people join as one, brothers under the sun. That's what the national anthem of Zambia teaches me. I'm an African. The borders that were there, which were drawn in 1884, 1885, we were not there. I have my relatives in Kimberley who came here to work in the gold mines. Some of them were born here, remained here. They never returned to Northern Rhodesia. Zambia has got 8 neighboring countries. Part of my mother's family, they originated from Angola. We still have Angola. My father's side, the origins in the late 1800s or the early 1800s is from DRC, from Congo. I have relatives in Caprivi, in Namibia, direct. My wife has relatives in Zimbabwe. It doesn't make sense to look at it in a very narrow way. We are one people with one struggle. We still have graves in Zambia of my friends from here. I get very annoyed every time when a body is exhumed to be brought here. What are you leaving us? Yes, we have not looked after those graves very well. We can do better. If we get into government, we'll do much better. But there are people also. I still go to the flat where OR used to stay next to the cathedral, the Anglican cathedral in Lusaka, flat number 5. I still go there. In fact, that flat today is occupied by the president of UNIP.
Wow.
Bishop Trevor Mwamba.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we go there to the same flat where OR used to live. Many people don't know that one. They know the one on the road to the airport that has been declared a national monument. And they also know that he used to live in State House, but they don't know that he used to live at that flat. I think you know much better.
No.
So and I started my revolutionary life as an internationalist.
Yeah.
I didn't start it as a Zambian. So I'm ready to be deployed anywhere. I feel very bad when there are issues of xenophobia. It shows the primitivity. It shows the backwardness. It shows the lack of understanding of who we are, especially we Bantu people. We all have the same origin. Every Bantu, the origin is the same from the Niger Delta. Some 4,000, 5,000 years ago is when we started coming down here from the same source. And others started going back. We have Zulus in Zambia today who went to Zambia, to the territory called Zambia today in 1835. We have Sutus in the western part of Zambia who were led by Sevitwani as Kololos, 1830. That's not very long ago.
Indeed.
Same people, they speak the same language. They have the same names.
I'm glad we've touched on this thing and also went back to aspects of history, because indeed no African should be the enemy of another African, and no human being should be the enemy of another human being. And I'm glad that you have touched this thing. I think it's also important from the Conference of the Left that we had organized here. Our comrades, various organizations, had a strong, unanimous message against xenophobia, against violence, against migrants, and have called for the people of South Africa in particular to remain calm and to understand the source of this crisis, which is generated by the system of capitalism that postures one group against the other, when that group has done nothing, because the exploitation and the oppression all come from the same source, which is capitalism. But going forward, let me ask one question about, in the presidential campaign, how are you seeking to, I will come back to what Joe Slovo said sometime when he was in the transition to South African democracy here around 1993. And he said to our comrades that when you are in government, don't just transfer power, transform it. So in other words, he understood the necessity for the transformation of existing power relations so that you don't have a socialist party in government and nothing changes, because it just transferred a power, a cosmetic transfer, but the system of power has not yet been transformed. How are you seeking to transform the Zambian government, or even the economy for that matter?
Firstly, as a revolutionary organization, as a revolutionary leadership, we have to carry out a revolution. You carry out a revolution by changing the power structure, by giving power to more and more people. Power has to be shared. We in the political sphere, we are not the only leaders of our people. There are other leaders, authentic leaders of our people. We have the traditional leadership. We have the religious leadership. We have even those in business, in the trade unions, the intellectuals, the professionals. These are also authentic leaders of our people. And power must be shared with them if we really wanted to transform society. Because we, as a small group of politicians alone, we can't do it. We can't make the fundamental changes that are required by our people if we want to give our people a better and happier life. All our people must participate. In that way, also, it becomes easier to secure, to guarantee the changes that you want to put in place. If you are just a small band of you, those changes will be swept away by the forces that are against progress. And they'll always be there. Power is always contested. In a class society, power will always be contested. So whatever changes we make, we must also think about how those changes are going to be defended. And those changes can only survive if the great majority of our people are participating in sharing power, in governing the country. And that's the only way you can improve people's lives. What the workers, the poor, can't give themselves, nobody will give it to them. So we are simply facilitators.
Yeah.
We are not the holders of power. Real power lies with the people, and it must lie with the people, not rhetorically, but in the real sense of it.
Economically, what are your intentions?
Firstly, our country, Zambia, has lost its sovereignty. It has no control over itself.
That's
It
serious,
does
man.
not own its resources. It does not control or own the economy. The economy of Zambia is owned by foreigners, transnational corporations from Europe, America. They are the owners. Now even the Chinese companies have joined in. So we don't own anything. For instance, the banking sector. Zambia's banking sector is not that big. It's got only $12 billion of assets. But only 2% of that 12 billion is 100% owned by Zambia, of the banking sector. And only 5% of the financial system, the financial sector, is owned by Zambia. If you don't control money in the economy, it's like you not being able to control the blood that flows in your body to transmit nutrients. How do you survive? How do your business people get capital? That doesn't belong to them. So we need to control our economy. That's from the economic side of it. But also from the political side of it. A country that is dependent on another country, that is controlled by another country, cannot be democratic. The power I'm talking about sharing with the other people, we will not share it with the people, we share it with the transnational corporations. If we don't have the sovereignty, if we don't have control of our country's destiny. So it's important to win back our country. When we win back our country, we'll make decisions that are in the best interest of our people.
So, in other words, you are saying capital has practically hegemonized or taken over the power of the Zambian people to itself, and is sharing the minute as possible. So the people are starved of their own economy, of their own livelihoods. So you have identified the source.
Yes,
So,
if you don't control your economy, if your economy is controlled by other people, what are you in control of? What country are you running?
so
From the nature of the state, even the definition of the state.
So the current leaders, what have they been doing? So they've accepted to be comprador
They are agents.
leaders.
They are compradors. They are agents of capital. Don't forget that Zambia was first colonized by a company. I've repeated this message. Zambia in 1891 was colonized by Cecil Rhodes and his company, the BSA company. And he ruled that territory for 33 years with his company. He only gave it up to the British Foreign Office in 1924 because it was becoming too complicated for him to run the army, to run the police, the judiciary, provide all sorts of services. He wanted to maximize profits.
Yes.
So he gave it to the British to run. But it's still more, he was generating the profits, he was acquiring the profits he wanted. Have we recovered from that? No. The mining corporations continued even under the British rule to control the destiny of the territory to this very day.
So I'm glad that it seems the socialist part of Zambia is ready to rebuild the capacity of the Zambian economy to build institutions, to transfer power back to the people. And you have taken this challenge. Do you have the collective to run the country?
The people are there. The collective is the people, the people themselves. If the people are there, the people will run. You can only have lack of capacity to do so when people are not there. But as long as there are people there, we'll be able to run with them. It's not just a socialist party.
All those categories that you have mentioned.
Yes, they have to participate.
So you are not just at the helm, but you have also bringing in all the sectors of society into a collective leadership.
We don't have a choice. If we have to give our people a better life, we don't have a choice. We have to do it with them. The Socialist Party cannot do that for them. It doesn't have the capacity. It has to do it with the people and for the people.
I'm impressed by this collective approach to leadership. And quite certainly, this non-sectarian approach is important for the Zambian people. And it can be practiced in many other parts of the continent where you don't have to be greedy about the leadership question. You can share it with institutions of society that have been influential over the years, that are continuing to play an important role in the communities. This is a very strategic thing that the Socialist Party is doing. And I wish you very well and great success in this regard. Is there anything that you still want to say to the people of Zambia?
It's ownership of the mines. Zambia is a mining country. We don't own the mines. They are owned by transnational corporations. These transnational corporations, when they started mining, they did not even carry out extensive explorations. They simply went and took over the mines of our people. Our people were mining. They were making all sorts of copper tools, copper items. They were found all over. So they took over their mines without compensation. And only 1/3 of our mining potential is under exploitation today. We still have 2/3 to exploit.
What?
Yes, only 1/3.
So there's great potential.
There's still great potential. Even our battles over the ownership may not be as complicated as you may have them here. We may not have to rush for nationalizations. Given the challenges of nationalizations that we have experienced over the last 60 years, of both the socialist and capitalist nationalizations, the success has not been that good, we must admit. So we may not rush into nationalizations and have complicated political and economic
prolonged legal wrangles.
We have 2/3 to deal with.
Wow.
We have to deal with the 2/3 in a different way. These Zambians must own. They must own in all sorts of ownership formations.
Yes.
They can own as individuals, they can own as cooperatives, and they can own also as state enterprises.
Wow.
So the forms of ownership will have to be diverse. We are not going to look for only one form of ownership.
Why, with this dynamism, haven't you entered the presidential race? I mean, you have denied Zambian people an obvious choice of a man with a variety of alternatives, not a one-dimensional leader. Why it took you so long?
I was busy. I was deployed elsewhere. And also, knowledge has to be acquired through struggle. The knowledge I have today, probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I did not have it. The opportunities that I have of leadership were not given to me 30 years ago. I was a cadre, low-level cadre in some other organizations. I was busy. I've not wasted my time from the time I was 19. I've worked. I spent 27 years in the media. It was not wasted time. We made a contribution until when that contribution was stopped. So, and also it's not necessarily me running for president that is important. There's a limit to what one person can do. Yes, an individual is important.
Yeah.
But there's a limit to what one individual can do. It's a collective, it's not just me. And the processes that we're embarking on are not like just pressing a button.
Yeah.
Then you have this fair society, this just society, this humane society. No, it's a process. And the work that we've been doing over the years is part of that process. Sometimes it takes much longer.
Well, I must say thank you very much. It has been an impressive brief talk on the red mic of the SACP online to host our dear comrade and friend, Dr. Fred Mbembe, who's contesting the presidential candidacy in Zambia. We want once more to wish you best regards in this campaign and great success.
Thank you very much, and keep up with the work that the party is doing. I'm very proud of the work the party is doing, the positioning of the party, the initiative that the leadership of our party is taking. It's very impressive, very exciting.
Thank you.
Especially the conference that I just.
Thank you very much. I must say, comrades, it's very rare to find a man with 2 PhDs, so humble, so humane, so hardworking, and still giving his life to the interest of the working class and the poor, especially the people of Zambia. All the best, Dr. Fred. Thank you very much. Excellent.
Nindibona ndingena khaya nje